Hello. First, I think I will push some music because today was a very long day. How many of you know this video? Oh, for the rest of the people, there is two versions, 10 hours and 15 hours. It's available in YouTube, but I think it's kind of kinsy thing to put the mood to start it, eh? Yes, it's a little loop. Okay, so we can start even we left the music in background, but we start the presentation. Today we will talk about the Abbey. Abbey is a project of an artificial intelligence to solve again. We use reinforcement learning. Now this is classic, everybody using it, but we think it will be very funny to talk about our history. First,
okay. I'm Sebastian Blanes. For a living, I work designing API and helping customer to manage that API and enter into the API economy. But when I have some time, some spare time, I am the maintainer of Vigasoko SDL, which is a fork of Vigasoko with the SDL video libraries. And in a few minutes, I will explain what is this exactly and how we are using it for the project.
Okay, my name is Juantomas Garcia. I am the Chief Missioning Officer. That's be the another CEO. This is perfect for the parties and or the thing. My company name is Singular. I am also GDE, Google Developer Expert for Cloud, and I am the public relation of Abbey. Sebas programming, did a lot of things, and when I have time, I go outside to tell everybody what is the project. In addition, I wrote the first book about free software in Spanish. The name is La Pastilla Roja. You know the thing about the matrix, what is the good one, the red pill or the blue pill. But all my friends think it's a book about drugs, but it's okay. Also, I was the former president of Hispalinus. That was the biggest Spanish Linux user group. And also, I am the organizer of the Mitad Machine Learning Spain Mitad and GDG Cloud Madrid. Okay, so let's start it. How the thing begin? Does begin like almost everything interesting with a couple of beer and Sebas told me, you are talking all the time about machine learning, reinforcement learning, but why do you try to solve this whole game? I am a very big fan of the Abbey. Are you able to do that? And I say, of course. Yeah. As I say, a lot of things is not possible. I say, I will start this. And that was 1 year ago, more or less. So that's how the thing starts.
Okay, so the Abbey of Crime is the Abbey of Crime. In English, it's a Spanish video game of the 80s. In Spain, it's kind of a cult video game. There are a lot of action related to this old game. We have a stamp. We have a room in one of the IT museum of the city. There are several rewrite and a version of the game to so you can run the game in modern system. There is also some flame wars because some people saying this is the best Spanish video game of all time, and some people say that it's not so good. But one thing that all people agree is it's a very, 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 very hard game. I didn't know anyone which was able to finish the game without using some external help, some guide, some maps, and some tricks. So the idea of an artificial intelligence that was able to solve the game was very, very interesting.
Very impossible.
Also,
okay.
This is some kind of homenaje. Well, that was the original author of the game. Paco Menendez is the main programmer in the app side. Unfortunately, Paco died very young. Juan del Can is the responsible of the graphics and all the design of the Abbey. That is, you are going to see some image of the game, and it's really, really very impressive for that time.
This is very important because that was when the studios had 2 persons, nothing like now with hundreds of persons, hundreds of millions, you know. So, but the product was very, very, very good. So, what's the plan? The plan was how to make an artificial intelligence that can be able to learn and play the game, and another game with a lot of problems to starting and thinking that for humans it was almost impossible. The first thing was how to get the game.
Yeah. So, most of the projects trying to solve video games with artificial intelligence are using some kind of emulator and some kind of manipulating the environment of the simulation. So the agent, the artificial intelligence agent, was able to move the main character. So we are not using robotic arms pressing the keyboard. But for this game, we have a different approach. As I said before, in Spain, this is a cult video game, so there is a lot of projects around the game, and one of the projects was Bigasoko from Manuel Abadia. And Manuel Abadia disassembled all the original Astra CPC ROM, which is about 64 KB of code. He documented all the code, mark where is graphic, where is shown, where is some kind of variable, and after that work, he rewrite the whole game in C++. So we have a more comfortable environment to play. We can modify this C++ source, so we can interact between the agent and the game.
By the way, in 64 kilobytes, that is the code, all the definition or all the spaces, the graphic and the music. Okay, remember the some icons or some stickers you send when you are testing are bigger than this. It's the kind of treasure to go into the code because it's very, very good one to do that. At the beginning of the game, there is a handwriting and simulating the handwriting, and after this screen and this process stop, clear the memory and use this to expand the rules. It's the kind of problem of the 80s, working with Astra, Spectrum.
You are interested in retro gaming. This is really, really short code that you have to have a seek and study, because it's in some kind is wonderful, in some kind is so ugly because it's a very bad programming, because Paco was using a lot of tricks to reduce the memory and to compress and fit all the assets of the game in only 64 KB. As I said before, I had a fork of the project, and I tried to bring the game to every system possible. We have version for PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, for Dreamcast, for Linux, for Windows, for Mac OS, and even for the Chrome web browser.
Mm-hmm. So, how difficult is the challenge? As you know, or almost we believe that, the number of the atoms in the universe is 10 elevate 80. Okay? So when you are trying to solve the chess, the legal move in chess is 10 elevate 120, and games like Go is 10 elevate 761. In the case of the Abbey, the legal move to try to get the solution is about 10,000 move, and it's something like 5 elevate to the number of legal moves to solve the game. It's about 10,000. Okay, so you cannot make an approach to solve this with a classical brute force method. Okay, so there is a lot of things that make the game more difficult, Sebas.
Yeah. So, as you can see here, this is a pretty impressive game for the 18. It's not like Pong. It's not like Pac-Man. There is a lot of beautiful graphic, and also there are a lot of character in the main screen doing different things. This is not dummy or silly character that they are doing the same in the same screen. So they have some kind of artificial intelligence, and every character in the game is doing his duty inside the Abbey. So you are exploring the Abbey. You are going to find any other character doing the common tasks for the Abbey. And while you are playing, and you have to try to solve the game, and we haven't said that this game is based in the name of the rose. You know, the book from Umberto Eco, and the movie with I don't remember the actor, Sean Connery. Even if you know, you have read the book, even if you have seen the film, it's very difficult to solve the game. In classic game, and most of the first game that were defeated by an artificial intelligence trained by reinforcement learning, there are simple games like Pong. If you move your character down and the ball is going past your position, you are losing. You have a very simple rewarding system. So the artificial intelligence can improve his movement. But in this video game, they have that they call delay space reward. So maybe you are doing a bad move in some moment of the game, but you are not going to know that it's a bad move until 20 minutes more of playing. Mm-hmm. As I said before, there are a lot of character in the game that make difficult to solve the game. So, for example, in this screen, we have one person blocking, one character blocking our path, our way, and it's very difficult for the artificial intelligence know when there is a wall in front, or when there is another character who is moving in the next move and giving you a free way to move.
Mm-hmm. And there is a special situation, and there is a lot of trap in the game. The game are 7 days. But there are special hours that when the bells ring, you know to go to the chapel and stay in the right position after the end of
The praying of
the praying. If not, you die. Okay, so it's not easy. It's really, really difficult. Sometimes I say that is impossible. Okay, so what do you need to solve a game like this? It's almost pretty classic for the rest of the game, but the first thing is you need to interact with the game. Okay, the second thing is you need to get and set the game information to try to learn, to try to understand what is happening. And the third thing is about how to play million of game, okay? Because if you try to solve, even if you try to not solve the game with brute force, you will need, in any case, millions and millions of game, okay? So the first pass is, what is the best way to, or the classical ways in the last 10 years to interact with something? And Sebastia and me was taking some beer and say, hey, we put a REST server. We put a web server inside the game, and we made just REST requests. And that was great, because was the very first step to have a clear interface that we can use in a remote way, in a clear way, within about socket, pipe, whatever, make a special keyboard driver, but it was...
Yeah, as I said before, in most of the other projects are trying to get the pixel on the screen and have to analyze the pixel on the screen to get where is your light, in which screen you are, and we have an advantage over this project because we have the rewrite of the original code, so we can embed the web server and we can set command easily, and we can retrieve the information of the game easily as well.
Mm-hmm. So this is the first step. I wanted to signify that is everything when they are or you listening that somebody is making some artificial intelligence thing, that's a very glamorous thing, but at the end of the day you need to spend more than 95% of your time making plumbering and trying to get the game responsive, try to make this information be faster, reduce the use of the memory, speed up the communication. It's a lot of time you are not doing nothing fancy about artificial intelligence. At the end of the day, you can do things like this, just call curve or wget to get information about the game.
Let me say one little thing, is that this is not a really good API design. This is not a good REST interface. This is our first approach, but we have another brand in our GitHub repository that have a new interface that is more clear.
Yeah. But you had something like this. I will make a very, very fast
demo.
Demo is my
computer response.
Yes, and sometimes didn't happen. Okay, I will do the demo
at the end.
Let me now. Okay. Just to see does work, but I prefer to make a poster demo with more information to show more than this now, because I am seeing the time and we wanted to say a lot of things. Okay, so this is how is the information returned by the game. The game can be in local, can be in a remote server. At the end of the demo, I will show you that we are running Kubernetes, Docker files. We have a Google cluster, Kubernetes cluster engine running the game, getting the information. So this is the kind of information we got from the game. It's a JSON in one line with a lot of information of the screen. The screen, we have a little more information than the screen because the screen is the information is so poor. Yeah, and we have not all the information. So we got a kind of grid with all the information that the game can see, but we saw the same information that the human player got. We don't get all the information of the game, of every rune, every character. We only got the information about this rune.
Okay? No, we are not using any trick. We are returning the same information that a human player can see.
Okay, so one of the important part, or the main part, when we are trying to solve this, is we starting very soon. We discover that we can do it in your laptops, and you need to scale it. As I tell you before, I am well developer expert, so I had some resources at Google Cloud, so it was a natural way to try to solve the game, starting scaling in using Google. Okay, so this is the information we got. The timestamp, the reward, bonus, second, or the state. You will see that with the reinforcement learning, it's very important to have one current state, make one action, and after that action get the next state, and if there is reward or not. It's very important for us to have set point to restore the game and when something interesting happens, because as you can start thinking it's not the very good idea to reset the game all the time at the first run. That is about 200 runs, so it's a problem of time. I try to discover what is the best solution, the solution of the game, just trying to starting all the time from the first run. So every time we pass one run, get an important reward, we start an exit point, and we starting with this finishes state to reset the game and starting trying to exploring and discover new solutions.
Also, another advantage that we have is that as we are not using a simulating of an old retro computer, we have a full C++ source code. We can have some mini games or mini tasks. So instead of training an agent trying to solve the whole game, we can make a specific version with small tasks, like move to another room, get some object, or so on. So we can speed up our training with this.
Yes, with these strategies. If you are reading last time about how reinforcement learning is progressing, perhaps you heard about there is some things that are trying to solve StarCraft 2, and we sometimes some of the team are from OpenAI, another things are from DeepMind, but one of the strategies that are trying to solve a very complex game like StarCraft 2. Craft 2 is try to make little simulation to starting learning how to improve into more complex situation. Okay, so we will go around this for the part of gathering information. I feel like Mario all the time because the world is all the time trying to get points, trying to get information, saving, making tools, making a lot of plumbering to make all working and gathering information. The first Google tools we use a lot is BigQuery. Why we use BigQuery? Well, it's very fast, absolutely very fast. When you put some data and create a database with all the action and all the gates we had, we can make a complex query again 1 terabyte. So we haven't 1 terabyte, but we have a lot of millions of records, and it's very fast in 10 for seconds to get the result from the queries. We are trying to discover if the game was in one room, to look for special, what is the checkpoint more near of the reward, when the life is so short, all these things. So that was one of our first tools, and after that, we started not only studying and gathering information, try to organize all the project. The first thing is, well, if you are in a project like this, you wanted to go very fast to the code, starting make a thing, the REST server, try to make the first agent. But we discovered that there is a project called OpenAI Gene. This project is from OpenAI, as you know, is a project funded by Elon Musk, because Elon Musk is worried about artificial intelligence and he wanted to have some control over there, so put some money to a lot of people to solve video games. Okay, I don't know what is the final strategy, but it's good for me and for our team. So the first thing is that there is a standardized way to design a reinforcement learning environment. Okay, this is called a gene. So the first thing we did is not only to have an interface embedded into the game, it's also to have a standard way to access to the game. And this standard way to access is used by all the Atari games, the new games. It's a kind of standardized way. So we created someone, and it's the Abadia gene. Okay. So when you have this standard place, you can start in making some reinforcement agents, and everybody can know what is the standardized way to write an agent. Okay. So in theory, you can download our gene. You can start in your in theory, in practice, your agent and
play with.
Yeah. So yeah, and if you did previously an artificial intelligence agent for one OpenAI gene, it's pretty fast. You can start working in 1 hour or 2, have an agent working, but not solving the game. This is another question. Okay, so we have a REST API, we have an OpenAI gene, and we have enough hardware resources, because we have mostly resources from Google. We have not the same resources like DeepMind. This is a very modest thing, but we don't need more. We are happy with our resources. So, how work a reinforcement learning agent? How many of you know what about reinforcement learning? Oh, it's okay. It's pretty easy. At the end of then for me is my favorite field in artificial intelligence, deep learning. I make a lot of projects in pretty classic technique, But my favorite now is reinforcement learning, not only about the game. I use this kind of technique in more projects, but there are, it's I need to choose one picture to say what is a reinforcement learning is this. We have an agent, we have an environment, in our case is Abadia gene. So the thing is, we have one state, and with this state, we try to find what is the best next state, or I just trying some random action. I trigger one action to this environment, and I in return the gene give a new state, a new environment, and what is the reward associated with this action. Okay, so with this we have now the current state, so I can fit again the model inside the agent to decide what is the next action, and this is infinity. Okay, so this is a very simple picture, but at the end of the day, this is all the time the same thing in reinforcement learning, and that's why if you have an OpenAI gene, it's so easy to enter the people to design or create agent for an environment, because all this thing is emulated and it's all the time the same operation. The only thing that change in the agent is what is the strategy you need to learn, and how to what is the way you get the next action. Okay?
Let me say that this works pretty well when you have very clear reward after one action. As I said before, in Pong, if you move the character, you are the ball rebound in your character, or you are losing 1 point, and so it's easily to track the record and your life or your score and so. But in the Abadia, it's not so easy, because some reward are delayed and you get the reward after a lot of action.
Perhaps the first reward is after 500 movement or something like. Is you have 9 possible action, you have 9 elevate 500 option. Okay, so it's not easy to go to get this randomly. So at the end, sometimes I was driving in my car and I say, hey, if there is a movie that define reinforcement learning, this movie is The Groundhog Day. All the time is the same thing you repeat in an infinite loop, but the thing is you don't receive your mind every morning. You get the previous acknowledgement you got. You know what is the favorite thing that's like the girl, or when you don't cross the road because there is a truck coming so fast, you know, all these things. So for me, perhaps someday we will make some T-shirts with a greyhound and Abadia. Okay, I will put here a little demo. Also, I will put bigger this screen. Okay, I love this font. You know what is the name of this font? It's Fira Code. This has ligature. You know what is ligature? It's absolutely wonderful. Just look. I will put bigger. When you put something like not equal, you see this kind of thing are really. The name is Fira Code. If you wanted to download, okay. So let me make a little very fast demo. We had one Kubernetes server running in Google Cloud, okay? So we may get the services. I will we've got something like this. Is in this port 80, and this other. Okay, so if we do something like I told you before, like this. Oh,
Whoops.
And make percent. With this, you go ahead, okay, and you can do something like dump the result, okay. So I prefer this way, like more like the matrix, but I will show you how one of our agents working with this. Here, I think this part. I will start with this checkpoint. I don't know if this checkpoint is very good, but I almost spend my time, even when I work in my daily working, but my boss don't know about this. Just seeing this screen all the time. Okay, it's not the game. It's a haircut version. It's on the cloud. The E is also the arrow is the bat. When Sebas say that it's difficult, ASO is all the time in front of me. I try to go through the room, but all the time is looking like with his silly face, just look at me and say, hey, let me go. I need to go to discover and finish the game. This is the kind of interface I have to understand everything. For the people that love assembler, in assembler, there is half byte that determine what is the height or the wall, or the floor, or the number of the characters. So it's a kind of how we solve this all the time. All the time at the beginning, one of the parameters was the cloud. What is the resources in the cloud? Where is we are storing the information.
This is the image that the agent is making of the world after he get the dumps of the game state.
So, what is the reinforcement learning strategies we are using? At the beginning, this project was about trying to solve an impossible problem again, but also try to be a very good opportunity to start understanding what is reinforcement learning, and so we started making agents so simple for testing all the plumbing, for testing the gene, but also to try to discover what is the worst things about every strategy. So the first one was random. Random didn't solve the game. That's
for sure.
Pretty.
It's like putting monkeys pressing the keyboard.
Yeah, and it was very funny, but didn't solve more than 5 or 3 runs. Okay. The next one was Q-table. Q-table is kind of, you can put what is the probability to solve the game in a static table. Obviously, it's impossible to have 9 states for every possible state in the game, because also this is not like Go or some games that you don't repeat the same movement. Okay, so you can sometimes you need to go to your bedroom to have some rest, and after that you need to go to the chapel and return to your bedroom. So it's a problem of infinity memory. It's not possible. With Q-learning, we starting to be more near of the possible solution. Okay, but at the end it's a kind of you see this graph. This graph is a Markov chain. You can try to make a Markov chain with all the decisions, but that can work for limited ocean, and if you have a deterministic environment. In this case, it's stochastic, so the problem is also you cannot reproduce the solution through a Markov chain. And we are working now in a mixed solution about did QN. By the way, the Q is a random letter that's starting using the people from reinforcement learning and has no meaning. Okay, but this is a very interesting point of view, because if you cannot represent all the states of a Markov chain in a Q table, you can try to make a million of gain and trying to go to general, like a human, like a general function, and using deep learning to try to solve the game. That is the way that the rest of agents are solving another problems, and the most famous one is you cannot have all the movements in Go, but you can have this learning model that take a look in the table and say now with this, if you put or you make this move, you are more near to win. Okay, and this kind of general function trying to, well, it's pretty classical in this learning, but this is one of the best solutions to try to solve the game. The only problem that has, and we had this problem, is you need to play millions of games and try to do at the beginning a kind of exploratory strategy, you know, try to go to a lot of run. Remember that there is 7 days, 4 hours, and it's different to be at the night, and if you meet with the Abad killing you or well, killing you. No way. So
finishing the game.
There is a lot of factors to work. We have a project to use H3C after critics and minigames. We started talking about a minigame, and perhaps we will use PPO. It all depends on the time we have, and we are pretty satisfied using or we have not the pressure of DeepMind or OpenAI, not the budget, not the time, but so we're happy trying different way. I will pass very fast, but it's absolutely impossible. You don't have a lot of resources like Google Cloud. You can do it. I destroyed my computer 2 times because, as you know, the SSDs are very fast. But you can, if you write terabytes of information, at the end the disks blow up, and you need to change the disk. And in the case of my computer, all the board. Okay, so at the end of the day, you need to store, trying to get a lot of information, try to put get some analytics. You cannot read whatever, thousands of gigabytes, just only to discover where is the best state, or trying to discover what is a model was really good, or this. So Bitquery is another very cheap and very easy way to do it. The another thing I really like it, and we have 5 minutes, is Google Cloud Function. How many of you are using serverless or Cloud Function. Is the same if you are using Amazon or not? For me, this is a kind of magic. I come from Unix at the beginning of the 80s, from Linux. For me, all the time, I am very, one of my pattern of architecturing is pipe, okay? And having triggers. And Cloud Function is like this. I had triggers that when I put one JSON with again info, some trigger automatically this git file and insert into BigQuery, send the results through a dashboard and whatever. For me, it's very important to have this kind of glue to put all the pieces. Data lab, Colab, in general, the notebook for me is very important. I passed from one stage I use my computer a lot, and now I need one sticker in my computer that say my computer is the cloud, because almost all the time I'm trying to get the better resources in the cloud to not have the limitation on my laptops. Okay, TensorFlow keras for me is very, very important. Engine, I use this to make the training to try to even put in production the models. Kubernetes, I talking before about Kubernetes. Kubernetes for me is magical. Now we have the way we are playing millions of game is we have a pass up queue, we have a generator. I can make some select and say, hey, I wanted the games that have a checkpoint in the room 23, and you have enough light, and it's in the second day, and after that, put the name of this checkpoint in a passage. So we have in Kubernetes job that are reading this passage, this queue, and starting pairs of engine and agent, playing this game and store the information in Google storage. This information automatically go to BigQuery. We make another decision like refit with this. So for Kubernetes, it makes so easy this, and really we need it. And we are in the two final slides. If you wanted to collaborate, we will have the upload this slide. All the code is open source. The name is La Abadía del Crimen en Yihad. Just send us a request. You can download, you can change the name, or you can do whatever. There's no problem with this. We have an Slack because everybody has on a Slack, and we share things like this. Don't you remember this matrix when the agent, the black guy, starting duplicating herself and fighting with Neo? We have something of this. That was a funny book. They all the time appear the duplicate and well, that is funny. Yeah. Funny things.
Some kind of synchronization problem between the agent and the engine.
And that's all. Here is the information. You can contact with us from bottom to top. If you have any question, there is lifetime warranty, so you can write that tomorrow, 2 years ago, whatever. You can reach us and make some question. Okay, we'll make some selfies with the Sebastia phone because the mine has no battery, and we are hiring in singular people. You want to go to Spain or Mexico or United States? Just write down one email and say, we wanted to do that. By the way, when I working in my day job, that is singular, I'm not working all the time in Abadía. I miss another thing. Well, I say that but because my do it. Okay. If you like the talk, you can smile. It's a kind of quality assurance. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.